I am proud to say that at the age of 25, I no longer work for money. And in today's video, I'm gonna tell you why you shouldn't either. A little background on me is when I was in high school, I got a job at KFC. And if you could imagine, I absolutely hated that job. It wasn't just the job itself that I hated and doing customer service, because I've always hated customer service and I still do, but it was more or less the pay. I felt like I worked so hard for $8.50 an hour. It was just the most difficult job, hard labor, on your feet all day, slipping and sliding because the floors would get wet. It was just too much. I hated it. That hate is a bad word, but I despised that job, okay? And my goal was always, how could I make more money? After I quit that job, I started getting jobs back to back to back. I never stayed at a job for more than about 3 months. I've had over 12 jobs my whole life. And each time I made more income, but I didn't see a difference, if that makes sense. And I couldn't figure out what it was. I went from making $8.50 an hour to then making $26 an hour, and I still had the same amount in my savings, which was about $100. Why is that? The income creep. Now, if you don't know what that is pretty much when as your income goes up, so does your expenses, just magically. All of a sudden, you need a brand new car. All of a sudden, you need the newest clothes and the newest shoes and to keep up with the Joneses. And that is really what messed me up, right? The whole time I thought the money was an issue, but it really wasn't. It was the way I spent my money and not being able to save money. Now, before I was making $26 an hour, after I left KFC, I was making around $18,000 a year. Guess what was the first thing I did? I bought a car. That was $18,000. Brand new off the lot. But not even that. I started spending money on so many other stupid things that I really did not need, because I wasn't making that much money, but that was just a lot of money to me, you know? When I started making $26 an hour, my bills did not change. I can't tell you what really happened with my money. I was paying the bare minimum for everything, like I was doing when I was making $11 an hour, but for some reason my savings would never hit $500. What ended up happening was, found out I was pregnant, moved back home, took a huge pay cut. I mean, half of my salary. And that's when it clicked. Okay, I haven't been living right. This is not how life is supposed to be. I was already about $28,000 in debt, or $25,000 in debt at that point. And I had to figure it out. You know, making half of my income, actually it was less than half because I was working part-time while I was pregnant. Trying to figure out, how could I pay off debt? How could I get my life in order so that I no longer have to be a slave to the things I'm supposed to own? My car, all the clothes that I couldn't buy cash and I had credit card debt for. When you're in a position where you're super uncomfortable, you're forced to change. And that's what happened. I'm pregnant, making way less money, and frustrated and stressed, getting down to my last $25. I was completely broke, not in a position to bring a child into this world. And I was just unhappy and miserable. After I had my baby, the first thing I did was went full-time. And I made it a goal to be debt-free by the time I turned 25. Aggressively, I paid off debt. I actually have a video about how I paid off my debt, so I will leave that down in the description box below. Now, I follow Dave Ramsey, so I had to change my mindset. And I had to work on delaying my gratification. But from that, I was able to become debt-free at 25. Once I became debt-free though, this is the kicker, I didn't need that much money. Life was not that expensive. And then I got to a point where I was comfortable. I had $1,000 in my savings, and it was growing so fast because I went from living on maybe 85% of my income to now living under 50% of my income. So I think I'm at like 47%. That's amazing. By next year sometime, I won't have to work full-time anymore. I'm house hacking. I don't have any debt. I keep my expenses very low. I don't keep up with the Joneses. Don't have the income creep issue anymore. I am actually happy. Something that I did and how I really knew that I was financially independent or free, the income that I was making from my other YouTube channel, from making content that I did not like. I did not feel like it was fulfilling. However, it made me a lot of money. When I finally was able to delete that content, it felt so good. I felt free. I no longer have to do things that don't serve my higher purpose to make a dollar. Some of you are gonna ask, okay, well now you no longer work for money and you're not trying to keep up with the Joneses, so what do you work for? Time freedom. I am trying to buy my time back. A lot of us hate our jobs and we want to do other things, but maybe it doesn't pay as much as the current career that we're working in. And that could be very, very frustrating because no one wants to work a crappy job that they hate, working with people that they don't like, and doing that every day, 5 days a week, if not more, 40 hours a week, if not more. That's just not the life to live. Even though I'm gonna do it for another year, I'm not going to be doing this forever, and I have a choice now. So I'm gonna save up money so that I can start doing jobs that I actually like. You know what, y'all? I went to the mall and I was like, I miss working at the mall. I used to work at Lenox. I used to work at Perimeter Mall here in Atlanta. I'm thinking about doing that. I plan on working maybe 1 or 2 days per week. I have the choice now because I no longer have to work for money, right? Whenever I get paid, I have more than enough left over. I value my time more than I value things. And I would consider myself not a minimalist, but borderline minimalist, because stuff no longer impresses me or makes me feel good. If I wouldn't do it for free, I'm not gonna do it for money anymore. That's just that. You have choices when you are financially free. When you think about something that you wanna buy, see how many work hours it costs, right? So for example, like I was saying, I was making $11 an hour, making around, I don't know, 18,000 or something. And my car was 18,000. That was 1 year's worth of work for a car. Does that make sense? No. If you make $10 an hour and you see something for $100, is it worth 10 of your work hours? Here is your homework. Questions to ask yourself. You can write it down. Let me know in the comments if you want me to know, but if you don't, you want to keep it private, that's fine too. First question is, what do you need to have in order to have more freedom? It could be something as simple as trading in that expensive car. Or maybe it could be something like going through your clothes and shoes and seeing what you could sell. Any jewelry that you have not touched in a long time, you could sell it. What can you change? It's not always getting rid of, but what can you change to help yourself become more financially free? It may even be adding income, maybe getting another stream of income, getting a second job, or working hard to aggressively pay off debt so that you don't have so many things coming out. Question number 2 is, what truly makes you happy? Sit down and think about it. When you think about the end and you think about something that brings you peace and makes you happy, what is it? And then number 3, and this is gonna be the hard one, what is your deadline? You have to set a deadline. I don't believe in just having dreams. It's about making them come true. So you gotta write it down on paper and set it as a goal. Write down the little things that you can do to get to that goal. What is your deadline to being debt free? What is your deadline to taking a sabbatical like me? Okay, I wrote down for my sabbatical, if you watch my content, December 16, 2022. If not before, I'll be out of there. All in all, I just want for everyone to value things that are actually valuable to you. Not what society tells you was valuable, but what's actually valuable to you. So I hope y'all enjoyed this video. If you did, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. Also make sure that you follow me at @theupgrade_Kiki, and I will see you all on the next video.